Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gathering in New World. I'm His Baby Jesus. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at Rivercress stems, as well as a nice little cheeky iron mine, and a lot of different gathering nodes like fronded petal caps and whatnot. So this one here is going to start in a little bit different area. It's also not going to be as straightforward as the last one we did, but still a pretty easy one nonetheless. So where you're going to want to start, you're going to start at the fast travel portal down here at Las Torres Lookout, and you're going to head due northwest up to this fishing spot right here, and that's where we're going to start. So this whole gathering route is going to take place along the river. I colloquially know it as the river run for my Skyrim friends. Fans, I hope you get that one, but nonetheless we are going to run all the way along. We're going to follow the river, so it's very straightforward like that. You can do this without pulling any mobs as well, so if you're lower level you can get this done without any worries either. Now you will have to veer off from the river for the most sometimes, but for the most part you are going to stick to it like a glove. So we are going to put a marker and we're just going to head due northwest right now, 266. You can gather anything you want along the way. Obviously you're not limited to doing to not gathering anything, but the main part of this run is going to take place at the river. So we're just going to run there now. It's only a nice little 200-meter run, and like I said, you can do this effectively without gathering any aggro from mobs. So as you guys know, Rivercress does spawn along the rivers, hence its name. Along here you will also find a lot of iron. You'll find those fronded petal caps. You'll find some life bloom as well if you want to gather some. And we are going to be jumping back and forth along the river as much as possible to make sure we get as many resources as we can. Now what's nice here as well, you'll start with getting some seeping stone. There's a nice little spawn point here for some oil. It is a triple spawn, so it takes a little bit of time to gather, but again, if you have a high enough mining level to be able to gather this, I would recommend doing so. Oil is very good for higher level potions. So you can see this one's already been gathered. We can get another seeping stone right here as well. So a nice little quad spawn actually, which is a little more than usual. Again, we're going to make our way around the bay, and you guys will see there's going to be some Rivercress that spawns up, as well as, again, those petal caps. And if you want to find some fishing lures, remember to gather these bulrushes. You can always find the fireflies, which are the best, in my opinion, lure for freshwater fishing. They do give the maximum boost to rarity of fish. Now there is a spawn here for Rivercress or Life Bloom, I believe. It does cycle between the two. You want to come up here and grab these pardon me, these tangle wisps here. They are used for regeneration potions, I believe, as well as mana, depending on the tier. We're going to run around the bay and keep an eye out because there are spawns all along the riverside here for those Rivercresses to spawn in. Now again, we are going to be jumping back and forth left and right of the river itself to be able to get all the materials that we need. But it is not, again, as straightforward as the other run where, you know, everything is just there. Now, this is a double spawn of Rivercress normally. Unfortunately, they are not here right now. That's okay. We're just going to keep going and staying as close to the river as we can. Again, you can't really veer off too much, and you can't really lose your spot because all you have to do is look for the water. So we are now just outside of the fishing spot here. It's a nice one-star fishing spot, and you guys can see it right here. So we're going to make our way around the bay here through all these briars. Again, you can find some nice little fishing lures and whatnot with the briars. So here's our first spot. You can see right here. If you don't look up, you can easily miss it. Here's the seeping stone spawn point. You and I thought it was a little bit further. It's another triple or quad spawn if I'm not mistaken. Again, oil, very important. You can sell it for materials if you'd like. Good way to get your mining up, but most importantly, it's very good for potion crafting. As you guys know, Arcana is my thing. I'll be making a video on how to power level your Arcana if you so choose to do that. I am now currently level 99, almost hitting 100 to be making a lot of that endgame stuff. Again, this seeping stone, you can make a decent amount of money just from selling the oil. Now we are going to make our way down to those tangle wisps again right here, and you guys can see all the Rivercresses. What's nice about farming at night is they stick out like sore thumbs. You can't really miss them unless you're deliberately trying to. And it's one of those things as well, you're going to want to keep an eye out around you to make sure that there's nothing that's spawning to your left and right, because again, there are a ton of spawn points for various different materials everywhere around here. Oh no, don't want the water. There we go. We want that tangle wisp. Hey, there we go. Again, sometimes you can also get petal caps from this as well, which are very good, or mushroom caps. I can't remember what they're called, but they're very good for later game crafting as well, higher tier. So again, stick close to the river. You can see in the distance we have our Rivercress spawning all over. A nice little double spawn to start us off here, and then we're going to make our way across the river to get that single spawn as well. If you do have higher gathering, 175, there is the high tier, I think it's razor wire, razor weed, I can't remember what it's called, but it is a spawn point for right between those rocks. Now we're going to do the famous NewWorld swim, where I'm just going to walk along the bottom like a psychopath and get over here to our Rivercress. Again, if you do have higher gathering or higher gathering luck, you might get some of those tier 2s or tier 3s, but for the most part you're just going to get those Rivercress stems, leaves if you're lucky, but most importantly those motes, which are super important if you are trying to level up your Arcana. They're one of the easiest ways to get it. If you just move your motes to essences to, or motes to wisps and then to essences, you can get that level up really fast. Now again, you're going to stay along the river. There is a spawn point for iron that is right here normally. Unfortunately, it's not here for the this exercise, but that's okay. There will be other ones without a doubt. Now your next Rivercress spawn is just around this bend here. Oh, there's our iron spawn over here. So it can spawn in those two locations along here. So you're going to want to gather that iron. Again, mining is super important because it can get you all the late game materials as well as just power level and make yourself a little bit of extra gold if you so decide to. We got a nice little onyx there. Now there's a nice little triple spawn of our Rivercress right along this dock here. And if you're very careful, you can actually gather them all without aggroing the guy who's in here. Again, that's the biggest part here. I don't want this to be limited based on your level or your damage that you can put out. Oh, this is a floating spinefish apparently. There we go. We got a Rivercress from that. So apparently the spawns can change. That was just a floating spinefish. So we gather our Rivercress here. Another Rivercress. And across the river, you can't actually see it right now, there is a Blightroot spawn as well as a Life Bloom spawn. So we're just going to grab these Tangle Wisps right here. Really quickly here. And we're going to make our way across the river to get that Life Bloom as well as the, pardon me, Blightroot. So, we're going to walk over here. And again, you can do this. It's a little bit more risky, but you can do this without aggroing the guy by the well. If you come from the left-hand side and walk up like that, you can gather the Life Bloom without aggroing him. Again, if you're high enough level to just kill him, feel free to do so. But you do not have to. And again, if you take a wide breadth around him, you can get around to the Blightroot as well. Again, no aggro. Whole point of this is anybody can do it. You don't have to be a certain level, and you can always be careful, make sure not to aggro. And walk back out towards the river. That's going to be the resounding point here, is you always want to stick near the river. It's your reference point as to where you need to go next. So you guys remember we got the Tangle Wisp from that dead tree, so we're just going to keep following along here to our next spawn of Rivercress, which is just up here in the distance. If you guys want to take a look at the map now, we did start here, and we've just, again, we've followed along the river. We've jumped back and forth a couple of times, grabbed our Life Bloom and the Blightroot from this spawn right here next to the barn, and we just keep on moving. Now, for some reason, this is a very popular location for people, but people just seem to leave the Rivercress, so we're going to take advantage of that. And we are just going to gather everything that they are leaving. So again, we're just going to grab that and move on. Now there is another spawn of iron that can come up right around here as well, so keep an eye out for that. Now, as you guys can see on both sides of the river here, we have a great amount of spawns. We have a double Life Bloom spawn. We have some fronded petal caps right here, I believe is what they're called. I could be wrong. That's what they are, fronded petal caps. And again, you want to gather all of these. These can be used as, your second or third material down the list, and the more you have of these, the less you have to use your rarer materials whilst crafting potions. Now we are going to go up here, and this is about as far away as we're going to veer from the river at any given time, because you can get some Life Bloom up here as well as a shock bulb, I believe they're called, right to the left. Again, you can do this if you're very careful without gathering the aggro of the skeletons that are to our left right now. So you just want to stay on the far right hand side of it and just gather it right here. Again, you want to get as many of these motes as possible, as many of these tier 2, tier 3 materials as possible, simply because they are going to what are going to allow you to power level your Arcana, which I'll make a video on after, as mentioned, and they will let you craft the higher tier materials as well. So we're going to grab this fronded petal cap as well. and then we are going to make our way across the river to get that double spawn of Life Bloom. Now this, like I said, does focus on Rivercress primarily, with a nice little sprinkling of iron and shock motes, but you can get a slew of different materials, and it's just a great way to power level various different of your gathering skills. So we have this double spawn of Life Bloom. We're going to turn around and grab that fronded petal cap, and we are going to make our way towards the waterfall, again staying close to the river. Now there is a shock bulb right there, you can see it in the distance. It does seem like that fine person over there is going to go gather it, which is, you know what, not a problem at all. Now, fun note here, there is normally a Life Bloom that spawns right over there. Unfortunately, it's actually a tease Life Bloom. You can't actually gather it. It's too deep in the water, and you cannot get the gathering prompt to even pick it up, so it's a little frustrating. Now, what's fun here, if you hop up on these rocks and you have a mining of over 100, oh, I think you can actually see the Life Bloom. Yeah, it's a little tease. You can't actually gather that. Now, if you have over 100 mining, you're going to want to come over this way. It's very, very important, because you're going to see a little star metal gathering node here. There's normally a triple spawn of star metal, and you can mine that out to get some decent mining experience. We're going to just run back up here. Now, if you want to gather more ore, you can find a bunch of iron spawns along this cliff face. So before you jump down, make sure you always check out along here what's going on. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to jump down the waterfall to continue on gathering our water motes. And again, because the fall damage in this game is basically non-existent, and you can basically heal through all the fall damage, we are just going to jump, and you're going to try and land on the boat, just because it'll make your life easier here. Now, we are going to come down to our springstone, and we're going to mine that. And we're going to run in behind the boat and get to the waterfall, because there is a spawn of Life Bloom on the other side. Look at that, 105 mining. You'll love to see it. We are going to now get to the Life Bloom, as well as the Rivercress. Now, this is where you run a bit of the risk of being able to pull some aggro from pirates. So again, if you aren't high enough level, just try and follow the route as best as you can. If not, just try and kite them around and get the materials you want. But for the most part, we are staying along the river. Shocking, I know. So we are going to come around here. You want to get around that crocodile. They are tough party bastards. We're going to come around the bridge here, and you want to just sort of time your run based on his patrol route. They just walk back and forth. You want to go a wide breadth, and again, if you are careful enough, you can just come up to the springstone, just like that, no problem. Now, there is normally a spawn of Rivercress right there. Feel free to grab that if you want to. Obviously, it's not here right now, but nonetheless, we are going to leave. We're going to leave out through the main road. There are no ads that spawn on the road. You just have to be careful. Sometimes they do spawn behind these walls. And you want to go grab this fronded petal cap as well. Again, we're here to gather as many materials as we possibly can. Now, again, on the map, we are currently here. So we did start this entire route way down here. So we did jump around back and forth, jump to here, all the way around, jumped down the waterfall, and came back around. For some reason, that stayed up, but hey. So we are now here, and we are going to keep running out the main road. For the most part, the run is done. I'm just going to show you how to get out of here if you are lower level and you don't want to pull the ads. You just run up this here. There's somebody in the tower. You don't worry about them. You jump off the back here. You get up onto these rocks, and you can run all the way around the wall without even pulling any aggro whatsoever. And ta-da! 0 ads, 0 aggro. You never get touched at all. So you can just keep running along the road. And again, if you want to stay up on the cliff face up there, you can see on my compass, there is a bunch of iron that we will loop back for, because again, iron is quintessential to both leveling up your mining, but also getting any later game materials like your steel and effectively your star metal afterwards, because you need steel for star metal. Again, this is a much lesser known location for all of your metals. You can also get gold spawns up on these cliffs. And if you're very, very lucky, star metal as well, as you guys saw on the side of the waterfall. So we are going to grab this iron here. And then again, we are going to make our way directly back to our fishing spot. So you do notice I still have that marker on the map. So we are going to double back around this side of the cliff. Oh, pardon me, this side of the cliff, because you can have that Life Bloom spawn. And again, if you did stay down there, you wouldn't be pulling any aggro, but for the sake of this, I did absolutely pull this Grey Wolf, and we'll just end him really quickly there. Somehow he didn't die, and there we go. Well, we're just going to hug the cliff face here and hopefully not pull the aggro of that other wolf. And get around to the Life Bloom. Again, not quite as straightforward as the last video where it brings us right back to the teleporter. But nonetheless, or the fast travel point, nonetheless, this one is still pretty easy. If you do have that higher ranked mining, do remember this might be lodestone, this might be orichalcum, I don't know. It is lodestone, so we're going to mine this as well. So if you do have 105 in your mining, you're going to want to pop this one and just get it done as fast as you can. We're just going to take our time with it, have a sip of our coffee, do whatever you need to do, and then move on towards the fishing spot. Now there is a couple more spawn points for some life bloom, a couple more spawn points for some mining material. We're just going to leave that for the sake of brevity in this video, and we are going to come back to it on our own time. Now you guys can go around the cliff if you choose to. You guys can go up and over the cliff. It's very easy to climb over. Again, for the sake of the video, we're just going to get stuck. Now, something to note, there are a lot of spawn points for some corruption here. So you guys can see there is one to my left and there is one to my right, which is very important to put down that pin on your map so that you guys know exactly where you need to go. And again, nothing actually spawns in between us and the fishing point. So it's very important. It's very nice. You can just run straight along this cliff face and in between them to the fishing point. Now, there was a fronded petal cap on the map where I am right now. There's another life bloom right here as well. And you guys can see this is again right here by this cliff. I have a bunch of stuff that I can redeem for this area. Beautiful. So we are now at the top of the cliff face. And we can now run down and jump to our fishing point. Again, fall damage is negligible in this game, so don't worry about falling down. You will very rarely take any significant amount of damage. As you guys notice, we are now back at the starting point. We're back at our bay, our fishing point, and if you looked, the timing on this is almost perfect because now you have these seeping stones that are already respawned. And if you guys do so choose, you guys can head over there as well because you can see that earth crag up on the cliff. But that being said, that's going to finish this one off for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This route can net you a decent amount of materials. As you guys saw, I got 12 life bloom stems, a bunch of fronded petal caps, a bunch of water motes, your Rivercress leaves. You got a couple of those as well. So very, very good to do your Arcana. You can see a couple of runs of those. Take yourself maybe 25 minutes to half an hour of your day, and you can get a ton of alchemy and Arcana stuff out of the way to be able to make all those potions. Level that up, get yourself your fire staffs, your life staffs, make some money on the potions, or do what you need to do for your company. But on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like it. Please make sure to subscribe if you so choose to. I'll try to make a couple more videos for this, as well as some nice power leveling for your Arcana. And yeah, I will catch you guys all next time. Thank you so much. Ciao.